Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. When the house mirrors the soul. Have you ever walked into your home and felt heavier? Not because of physical clutter, but something deeper. A strange sense of stagnation. Of tiredness that sleep can't fix. Of arguments that spark from silence. Of effort that leads nowhere, no matter how hard you try. You're not imagining it. Your home may be silently draining your energy, your wealth, and your peace, bit by bit, day by day. You see, in both ancient Feng Shui and Buddhist teachings, the space you live in is not separate from your karma, it is a mirror of your state of being. When your house holds stuck energy, it begins to reflect stuck patterns in your life. Wealth slips away. Harmony breaks down. Illness creeps in. And worst of all, you don't even notice it. Until it's too late. Many people blame bad luck, fate, or timing. But what if the true source of misfortune is hiding in plain sight? In the placement of your front door. In that dying plant you've been ignoring. In that drawer stuffed with broken, forgotten things you haven't opened in years. In today's video from Wisdom of the Dharma, we'll uncover 8 silent signs that your home may be working against you. These aren't just Feng Shui mistakes, they are energetic warnings. Each one reveals a deeper misalignment between your external world and your internal energy. And the final sign, number 8, is the most overlooked yet the most dangerous. It's not just a design flaw. It's a spiritual graveyard. And you might be sleeping right next to it. If you want your house to nourish your life, not sabotage it, stay with me. What you discover today may shift the way you see your entire home. And your destiny. Sign number 1. The breathless home, no light, no life. Imagine a house with the windows always shut. The curtains drawn. Lights turned on even at noon. At first glance, it might seem cozy, private, or just modern minimalist. But spend a few hours there. And something starts to feel off. The air feels thick. Your mind becomes foggy. Conversations turn cold. Even your plants seem to give up. This is what I call the breathless home. A space where light and air, 2 of the most essential carriers of qi, are absent or blocked. And without qi, there is no life. In Buddhist meditation, breath is the anchor of awareness. In Feng Shui, light and wind are the breath of the home. They don't just influence mood, they affect your karma. A house that cannot breathe becomes a container for stagnation. And where energy stagnates, suffering begins. Let me tell you a story. Cynthia, a freelance designer from Seattle, reached out to me after feeling exhausted for months. No medical issue. But she had lost all inspiration, argued constantly with her partner, and her savings were quietly vanishing. I asked her to describe her home. She said, honestly, it feels like a cave. All her windows were covered with blackout blinds. She rarely opened them. The only light came from cold LEDs. She thought she was optimizing for focus, but she was cutting off the energetic oxygen of her home. We made 3 simple changes. She committed to opening every window for 20 minutes each morning. We installed a sun mirror opposite her darkest wall. She placed a small table with aloe vera and golden pothos near her work area. Within weeks, her mood lifted. Her relationship softened. And surprisingly, 2 new clients reached out, without her even promoting. The lesson? Your home is not just 4 walls. It's a living being that reflects and reinforces your inner world. When it lacks light, you lack direction. When it lacks air, you lack movement. And when these two forces are absent together, your wealth, peace, and vitality begin to fade. If your house feels like it's holding its breath, it's time to let it exhale. Let the light in. Let the wind flow. And watch how your life begins to breathe again. Sign number 2, the leaking entrance, when fortune rushes out. Your front door is not just an entry point. It's the mouth of your home, the gate where energy, opportunity, and fortune enter. But what happens when that energy doesn't stay? When it slips through the house like water through a cracked bowl? This is the sign of a leaking entrance. A front door that, due to poor placement or energetic design, allows wealth and good fortune to flow in and rush right back out. Let me share the story of Alan, a tax consultant from San Diego. He was meticulous, hardworking, and had a steady stream of clients. Yet every year, his bank account hovered near empty. It's like the money comes in, he told me, and just evaporates. When I visited his home, the cause was immediately clear. His front door aligned perfectly with the back patio doors, creating a straight, uninterrupted path from entrance to exit. In Feng Shui, this is known as through and through qi. Energy enters, but it doesn't circulate. It escapes before it can settle. This layout not only affected Alan's finances, but his health and sleep as well. Why? Because when energy rushes too quickly through a space, it creates imbalance in all aspects of life. It's like pouring tea into a cup with no bottom. The fix didn't require renovation, just intelligent redirection. We placed a tall, leafy plant, a money tree, between the doors, not blocking, but softening the flow. Alan also installed a low wooden console table with rounded edges near the entry. And at my suggestion, he hung a simple wind chime above the front door, not as decoration, but as a frequency anchor. The results? Within 2 months, Alan's income stabilized. He even began saving, something he hadn't done in years. What does this teach us? That energy, like water, needs structure. If the front door is where fortune enters, your home must be designed to welcome and hold it, not flush it away. Check your own home. Does your front door face directly toward another door, a window, or a staircase? Do you feel like gains come and then disappear? If yes, consider ways to interrupt the current, with soft furnishings, plants, or even symbolic dividers. You're not blocking energy. You're inviting it to stay. Because wealth isn't just what you earn, it's what your space allows you to keep. Sign number 3, the road that cuts, invisible arrows of misfortune. Now let's talk about something most people never question, a road pointing directly at your house. You might think, it's just a street. Nothing mystical about that. But in Feng Shui, a road aligned like a spear to your front door forms what's called a poison arrow. It's not superstition, it's energetic logic. Let me explain. Roads are channels of movement. When one rushes straight at your entrance, it creates a forceful stream of energy, fast, aggressive, and unfiltered. Instead of gently feeding your home, this energy crashes in like a shout during meditation, jarring, overwhelming, and unsettling. I once worked with a couple named Tom and Elise in Chiang Mai, Thailand. They ran a peaceful homestay at the edge of a quiet neighborhood. Business was good, until a small side road near their home was widened into a direct access route. Within months, bookings dropped. Tom became irritable. Elise struggled with insomnia and unexplained migraines. Guests left early, complaining of uncomfortable vibes. When I visited, I saw it instantly. The new road formed a clear, narrow path, pointing like an arrowhead straight at their front gate. Their home, once a sanctuary, had become a target for fast-moving, cutting energy. What did we do? First, we softened the impact. They planted 2 tall lucky bamboo trees on either side of the entrance, creating a buffer. We also added a low stone wall, not to block, but to deflect. Above the door, we installed a small convex mirror to reflect incoming force. At night, we added warm lantern lighting aimed inward to strengthen the home's protective field. Within weeks, things shifted. Elise's sleep returned. Bookings improved. The house felt calmer, grounded again. So ask yourself, does your street or alleyway point directly at your front door? Have you experienced unexplained tension, irritability, or financial instability since moving in? The world outside may be rushing, but your home should never be a place where that rush crashes inward. Soften the edges. Create buffers. Reclaim your space. Because when energy comes in like a blade, your home stops being a shelter and becomes a battlefield. Sign number 4. Living near death, cemeteries, hospitals, and haunted lots. There are places where energy doesn't move, it lingers. It sinks. It settles like fog at dusk and never fully lifts. Living near these places may not seem threatening at first. But over time, the energy they emit seeps into your space. And your spirit. Cemeteries. Hospitals. Abandoned lots. To the untrained eye, these locations are just part of the urban landscape. But in both Feng Shui and Buddhist teachings, they are zones of heavy, fluctuating, or stagnant energy. Let's start with cemeteries. In Buddhist thought, death is not feared, but it is sacred. A cemetery holds the energy of transition, of endings. And while that may not always be negative, it is profoundly still. A house that rests too close to this stillness risks absorbing it. You might feel lethargic, uninspired, or chronically tired for no reason. Hospitals are different, but equally complex. These are places of intense emotion, spiritual struggle, and fluctuating life force. The energy there is unstable, hope and despair, healing and loss, all in one place. Living nearby can expose your home to that chaotic frequency. And then, the abandoned lot, perhaps the most overlooked of all. Overgrown, neglected, forgotten. These places carry energy that has no witness, no movement, no intention. In Feng Shui, we call this dead qi. And when your home is next to it, the stillness becomes contagious. I remember Monica, a yoga teacher in Portland. Her townhouse overlooked a fenced, unused industrial lot. She began experiencing strange dreams, mood swings, and a creative block she couldn't explain. Her classes thinned out. Her cat grew ill. The doctor said, "It's just stress." But the energy told a different story. We didn't move her. We strengthened her field. We placed a bowl of salt water with black obsidian stones by each window facing the lot. Monica burned cinnamon incense each week while reciting loving-kindness mantras. A string of clear quartz was hung near the back door. And we placed a laughing Buddha statue near her altar to shift the house's core energy. Within weeks, her dreams calmed. Her body felt lighter. And her students began returning. You can't change your surroundings, but you can shift your response. When you live near energy of death or neglect, don't absorb it. Anchor your home in vitality. Light candles. Play gentle music. Burn sacred herbs. Let your house become a sanctuary stronger than what surrounds it. Sign number 5. Cracks in the walls, cracks in the soul. Sometimes, the house speaks before the people inside ever do. A sagging roof. A crack stretching along the wall like a scar. Water stains blooming across the ceiling. Peeling paint. You tell yourself, it's just wear and tear. But in Feng Shui, and in the deeper symbolic language of the Dharma, these aren't just signs of aging. They're reflections of energy breaking down, both outside and within. Let me share the story of James, a retired school teacher in Philadelphia. He had always been a strong, optimistic man. But in recent years, he felt his mind growing dull. His finances drained faster than expected. His will to socialize faded. "I just feel hollow," he said. When I visited, his home told the story. The living room ceiling had a long, water-stained crack running straight across the center. In Buddhist philosophy, the center represents stillness, equanimity, the space between extremes. In Feng Shui, the center of the house is the heart palace, the energetic core. If it's broken, the entire home is out of alignment. We talked about more than plaster and paint that day. James broke down in tears, admitting he hadn't grieved his wife properly after her passing 5 years earlier. The house, it turned out, had begun to mirror his unspoken pain. Cracks on the surface. Pressure underneath. We repaired the wall, of course. But we also did something more important, we renewed the space. Together, we painted the room a warm earth tone. We placed a low wooden altar in the center of the room with a photo of his wife and a candle. Each morning, James lit the candle and whispered, "Thank you for the years. I'm still breathing." And something remarkable happened. His posture straightened. His voice grew stronger. And for the first time in years, he invited his grandchildren to visit. Here's the truth. A damaged house weakens your energy, but a neglected soul often damages the house first. If your home is falling apart, ask yourself, what am I holding together too tightly? What am I afraid to face? Then start small. Patch the crack. Sweep the floor. Light a stick of incense. When you repair your home with mindfulness, you're not just fixing walls. You're restoring the temple that shelters your spirit. Sign number 6, fading life forms, when plants and pets speak. When a home's energy begins to decline, the first to notice aren't always the humans. It's the quiet ones, the green leaves in the corners and the pets curled up at your feet. In Feng Shui, plants and animals are more than decorative or comforting, they're living barometers of energy flow. And in Buddhist understanding, they are sentient beings that respond intuitively to shifts in vibration, unseen disturbances, and subtle emotional tides. I once worked with Lena, an artist in Austin, who felt creatively numb. She loved plants. Her home was once filled with pothos, succulents, herbs, and a thriving fiddle leaf figure, but in the span of 3 months, nearly all of them had wilted or died. Her dog, usually playful, had become withdrawn, rarely eating, always hiding under the same hallway table. The house was spotless. The light, adequate. But something deeper was off. Lena admitted that after a traumatic breakup, she had shut herself off emotionally. She avoided certain rooms, kept curtains drawn, and hadn't spoken aloud in days. The house felt silent, not peaceful, but suppressed. In Buddhist teachings, suppression of emotion creates inner stagnation, and that stagnation extends to your environment. Her grief had created energetic density, one her plants and dog could feel. Here's what we did. She cleared the dead plants entirely and placed bowls of sea salt in the 4 corners of her home for 3 days to absorb the old energy. She introduced hardy new plants, peace lilies and snake plants, and whispered affirmations of gratitude as she repotted them. Her dog's bed was moved from the dim hallway to a sunlit spot near the family altar. Most importantly, Lena began chanting simple mantras each morning, inviting sound back into the stillness. 2 weeks later, new shoots appeared. Her dog returned to his normal habits. And Lena picked up a paintbrush again. The takeaway? When life begins to wither around you, don't blame nature. Listen. Dying plants, withdrawn pets, constant fatigue, these are whispers, not problems. They're signs that the energy in your home has gone quiet, heavy, or imbalanced. Don't rush to replace. Restore. Breathe life back into your home, and the life around you will respond in kind. Because when your environment suffers, your spirit contracts. But when you heal your space, you begin to bloom again. Sign number 7. Fire against fortune, when the kitchen destroys wealth. In both Feng Shui and traditional Eastern philosophy, the kitchen is far more than a place to cook. It is the fire gate of your home, the source of warmth, nourishment, and prosperity. If your bedroom is where rest is restored, the kitchen is where fortune is forged. But when the fire burns in the wrong place, or faces the wrong direction, it can consume the very luck you're trying to cultivate. I once worked with Sarah, a talented chef who opened a small home-based bakery in Vermont. Her food was exceptional. Her clients adored her. But no matter how well she did in one season, the money would vanish the next. And at home, she felt constant agitation, snapping at loved ones, struggling with insomnia, and feeling oddly drained despite her success. The culprit? Her kitchen stove faced directly toward the front door. In Feng Shui, this is one of the worst configurations. It pulls energy straight from the entrance and feeds it into fire. The result? Wealth that arrives and burns away before it can settle. It also disturbs emotional balance, making residents more impatient and reactive. Worse still, Sarah's kitchen was underneath an upstairs bathroom, another severe violation known as fire under waste. The energy of water and waste presses down on the fire element, suffocating vitality. We couldn't remodel the house, but we did adjust the energy flow. A light wooden divider with trailing plants was placed between the stove and the front door to break the visual path. A brass bowl of Himalayan salt and quartz crystals was positioned above the stove to absorb downward water energy. Most importantly, Sarah began a ritual of lighting a cinnamon stick and offering a silent intention of gratitude each morning before cooking. The transformation was gradual, but profound. Her temper softened. Her sales stabilized. And she began saving money for the first time in years. The lesson is simple. Your kitchen is the heart fire of your home. If its energy flows out too fast, or is crushed from above, everything suffers, your wealth, your health, your harmony. Look at your stove. Is it in conflict with the flow of energy? If so, don't panic. Redirect. Protect the fire. Honor it. Because when fire is respected, it becomes the flame that warms and feeds. But when it's ignored, it becomes the blaze that devours fortune. Sign number 8, the energetic graveyard, hoarding old, broken, forgotten items. Some burdens are not carried in the mind, but hidden in drawers, closets, and dusty corners. Have you ever opened a cabinet and felt a strange wave of heaviness? For no reason? You weren't just seeing clutter. You were sensing stuck energy, memories, regrets, identities that no longer serve you, but still linger. In Feng Shui, objects carry qi. Everything you own holds a vibration, especially what you hold onto without intention. And in Buddhist mindfulness, attachment to the past is one of the subtlest sources of suffering. What happens when your home becomes a museum of forgotten, broken, or unused things? It becomes an energetic graveyard. Let me share the story of David, a widower in his 60s living in Toronto. His home was tidy, but every closet was packed, old electronics, expired documents, broken chairs, boxes of his late wife's belongings. I can't let them go, he admitted. It's all I have left. Yet David struggled with recurring health issues, unexplained fatigue, and persistent financial blocks. He had applied for several part-time jobs, never a single callback. We didn't force him to throw everything away. Instead, we shifted the energy around the items. He created a small gratitude shelf where he displayed 3 meaningful objects from his wife's life, no longer buried, but honored. We cleared one drawer at a time, mindfully. With each item, he asked, "Does this carry love? Or fear?" A Tibetan singing bowl was placed in the hallway closet. Every time he opened it, he rang the bowl once, inviting sound where silence had settled. What followed was unexpected. A neighbor offered David a paid tutoring job. His chronic knee pain eased. He even began painting again, something he hadn't done in 20 years. Why? Because stagnant objects equals stagnant opportunities. And when you hoard what no longer serves you, you tell the universe, "I'm full. I have no room for new blessings." Ask yourself now, what items in your home do you avoid touching? Which drawers feel emotionally heavy to open? Begin there. Let go. With kindness. With ceremony. Not to erase the past, but to free the present. When you release the dead weight, space returns. And into that space, peace and prosperity can finally enter. Turn your home into a Dharma temple. Your home is not just a place where you sleep and store your things. It is your living altar, an extension of your inner state, a canvas where your past, present, and future quietly unfold. When the energy of your space is heavy, scattered, or broken, it doesn't just affect your mood. It affects your momentum. It tangles your thoughts, clouds your judgment, and quietly blocks the flow of blessings meant for you. But here's the most important truth of all. Nothing is fixed. Energy can be shifted. Karma can be softened. The space you live in can become your most powerful ally, if you treat it as sacred. You don't need marble floors or perfect architecture. You only need presence. Start by walking through your home as if it were a temple. Observe without judgment. Feel where the energy flows freely. And where it doesn't. Where light enters with ease. And where it hides. Which corners feel alive. And which ones feel forgotten. Each crack, each cluttered drawer, each unlit corner is an invitation, not for shame, but for transformation. Light a candle not just for brightness, but for awareness. Sweep the floor not just for cleanliness, but to sweep away stagnation. Rearrange a space not to impress others, but to realign yourself with clarity. Because when your home begins to reflect mindfulness, your life begins to mirror peace. At Wisdom of the Dharma, we believe that your house can be your first teacher. It teaches you where you cling, where you avoid, and where you long to expand. So ask yourself now, what energy am I waking up in? What story is my space telling the world, and myself? And then answer with action. Even one small shift can ripple into a new trajectory. Let your home become more than walls. Let it become a sanctuary. A statement of who you are becoming. A refuge where wealth doesn't just arrive, but stays. Because when the space around you supports your spirit, there's no force in this world that can keep you from rising. Your next chapter of peace, clarity, and abundance begins at your own front door. Before you leave, take a moment to reflect. What is one change you can make today to shift the energy of your home? Drop a comment below with a powerful affirmation like, "I release what no longer serves me. I welcome light, clarity, and abundance into my space. My home is a temple. My life is sacred." And if this video spoke to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another insight from Wisdom of the Dharma. We'll continue exploring how ancient wisdom and mindful living can transform not just your space, but your destiny. Your journey to peace, prosperity, and purpose begins right where you live. Let's walk it together.